Hello, this is Gaëlle Mowgli, the founder and executive director of Connect8, the International Solidarity Network. I am very happy today to introduce you to His Excellency Nasser Al-Khattani, who is the executive director of ACFUN. When we first met, I think it was like almost a year ago on social media, you said to me, and I quote, "It is always a pleasure to support active colleagues like you." So my question is, do you believe in the power of the collective and in the force for good that we can do by taking action online, offline?
Yes, I really support it, and particularly when it's come from women, because I believe if you want to achieve something, give it to women. And what you do in the social media, I'm proud of that. I know you. We sit together, and the work being done by you and Mr. Dr. Rogers as well. 2022 is make a fact that digitalization and social media became, very powerful. I remember one day, let me get this, I was going into a meeting talking about unemployment. That was in January when you tweet about the International Labour Report. Without social media and active people like you, I would not even reach that information before that meeting. And thank you. I did like to thank you for having, continue updating the social media on updating your colleague and what you're doing for Connect8. That's something is needed.
Wow, this is really an honor to Did you actually attend the Connect8's World Summit of SDG Influencers?
Yes, that's online, yes, and I enjoy it. And I like the way we have networking after with the person and so on. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah.
I really enjoy it and looking forward to attend the next meeting.
We talk a lot about solidarity with Connect8 because we believe that it's within us to give. It's and that everybody working in silo will not help achieve the SDGs. It's really by working together that we can have an impact. Does it resonate with you?
I look at Connect8 to have 3 areas of you doing a great thing. Partnership is a priority, and financial inclusion with its resource mobilization is very important, and communication. That's the 3 pillars. Moving toward improving it. Among any project, among any country, you will be achieving it. And this is the backbone of achieving Connect8 by partnership, resource mobilization, financial inclusion, and communication. Communication. Within the organization, outside the organization, country, etc., communication is very important those days.
Yeah, and advocacy, bringing people together, making people understand that anyone can be a change maker. I really liked what Helen Clark said during our Connect8 World Summit. She said, everyone has a voice, use it for good. And it's really a powerful message. Everyone can make a difference. Even if it's just one click at a time, but making sure that we're working together in solidarity and that we're making a change, positive change, and we're building back better.
You're right, and you mentioned Her Excellency Helen Clark. It's most needed those days. Helen Clark, we need her leadership for pushing that people could have, access and voice. Hearing that from a person like Helen Clark, that given the people the chance to speak loudly. And this is very supportive. And we appreciate what she's been doing to empower youth. I saw her in the social media, how she always encouraging youth and empower them. And thank you for, bringing her to Connect8, and we're looking forward to see her in the next summit.
Hopefully, yes. Could you tell us a little bit about the Prince Talal International Prize for Human Development, which is the award ceremony that ACFUN is hosting with UNITAR at the United Nations Palais des Nations on December 15th?
Yes, thank you very much for your question. We will be celebrating and honoring 4 winners. Those people did a great job and deserve to be recognized internationally. And we give them an opportunity to even help others. The prize worth $1 million
wow.
every year. They have given 4 categories, which is the first category for United Nations and international and regional organization, and the second for national NGOs, and the third one for government agency or social enterprise for private sector and individual.
So you have some very distinguished individuals in the prize committee. You have, for example, His Royal Highness Prince Abdul Aziz bin Talal. You have Queen Sofia of Spain, Mohammed Yunus, Dr. Ahmed Mohammed Ali, and many other people that are really renowned internationally. How are the winners selected by the nominating committee?
When we receive a nominated project from all over the world, that nominated project will be evaluated by 3 independent experts. And we come up with the best 5 projects to present it to the committee. The committee will look at the best 5 projects and choose one. This award go to the project itself, not to the individual or the organization.
Not the project holders.
This goes to, because we believe that we work for SDG and for the people.
There is a clear inclusion of women in the prize, and from the upper echelons of the selection committee down to the winners. So we know that it was a particular focus of Prince Talal's philosophy. What do you see as the biggest positive effects of such a focus on empowering women?
Yeah, going back to the founder of Ag Fund, Prince Talal, his vision and belief that empower women is the key to do development. And as you know, Ag Fund is financing project to women and children. That's it. We don't do for man anyway, without any discrimination, race, religion, and this is by law. So if you look at Ag Fund from the beginning, that's how we empower women. 4 areas, which is early child development.
Early childhood development.
Okay. Because without even integrate preschool education and educate kids, girls and boys to accept each other, dialogue, and help the mother to have access for their children, nursery and kindergarten. While this is very, very important. And the second area is civil society advocacy through NGOs. That's very important. And the third is digitalization. How can we have access to education and health through digital system? And this will have reach people. Imagine today we have one of our projects, the Arab Open University, to bring university to the youth all over the world online. This cannot happen without digitalization. And the 4th area is financial inclusion. So saying that Ag Fund from the beginning until now have 4 initiatives have been done in the Arab region to implement and reflect and support women. We have what Women's Center, Qatar in Tunisia. Mm-hmm. That center became center of excellence to empower women, and even outside, Arab region, and that was founded by Ag Fund, UNDP, United Nations, European Commission, all those, and Arab donor, and it exists. Second area, the Arab Open University, as well as we create a microfinance bank with Mohammed Yunus to have a microfinance. We have a bank in Yemen, yes, and we have a bank in Syria, Lebanon, Jordan, Palestine, Sudan, Mauritania, and Sierra Leone. And that bank have included and given a woman a priority when it's access to financing.
Well, 4 years ago, I decided to create a startup, which is Connectate, and then recently we created a non-profit as well in Switzerland, so we have both. And so we're developing a social network, so we're just in the beta, but we have a minimum viable product. Basically, I self-financed everything. From my years at the UN, I self-financed everything. Yeah. And then so now we're about to create like an online community with our own social network, and there is in 4 years we've created like an empire. We've got the foundation of something that is so powerful, because we have the people. I think it's also because we live on purpose. Like this is a hashtag that I use all the time, life on purpose, and many people prefer purpose now than benefits. And so this really echoes, and that's why we have such a reach, and so many people want to join us, want to be inside this community, and
The most important thing, your project got to be sustainable.
Yeah.
You have to make your plan to be sustainable.
Mm-hmm.
Sustainable in many ways.
Yeah.
Because whatever you do, and I told you, access to something, got to be affordable, and somebody will pay for it.
Mm-hmm.
Could be donor,
Mm-hmm.
could be government,
Mm-hmm.
could be influencer, could be private sector. Nowadays, after COVID-19, private sector will be more involved. Especially they have to comply with ASGs, environment, social, and governance. That area, because by the way, in the long term, for private sector, they will be benefiting more, make more money. When they care about society, when they care about environment, when they care about, good governance.
Yeah.
This is a three area. You have to look at it with a partnership. So probably what you're doing, and I'm glad that we met, you do a great job. And this is something to get people, a chance to have a partnership. Private sector now, they know what's mean social, what's mean SDGs, important. Social things need to be given a priority for the next 10 years.
I think what we're doing now is planting seeds, and I would love to continue this relationship and eventually, ask Adam Rogers to come on a Zoom. He's in the United States at the moment. But
Where is he, Adam? And I like the guy. We invite him so many times.
Really?
Yeah, because we follow him. I told my team, because as you know, I told my team because I like Adam, and we never met him. It's my pleasure, when he is available, we could even
he
talk.
was here 2 weeks ago. He came to my house for dinner, but he doesn't really.
I saw you on the social media.
You know it.
I saw you when you have that dinner.
It's almost scary.
Yeah.
You know more about me than I know about you.
Yeah, because you're active in social media, and I like the way you do, and I like Adam. Even I know Adam from before, 5 years ago. Adam, very respectable man.
Oh yeah.
When it's come to development, and we look forward to get together to see how can we help each other.
Yeah.
We help each other. We need you to know more about what we are doing, and how can we help other, because we are not limited in the Arab region, by the way.
No.
We are all over the world. We've been in 130 countries with our partner. The only that we know the Arab region, and we already done a good example in the Arab region, but we don't know South America. We don't know Africa. We don't know Asia. We need partnership. We need somebody who help us in that area, who knows or she knows, the area of, and now whatever we've done in the Arab region, we want to replicate it in Africa, because as you know, from Arab region you could go easily to North Africa and South Africa and etc., rather than going to Asia and South America, which is far away. But we need partnership over there, because with digitalization, with the global university like Arab Open University, have access to all people, to study and get a certificate validated and accredited by British Open University, which is coming through Arab Open University. This is something as a partnership internationally, and will be having even with affordable cost. It could be reached through donors, through people themselves.
Yes.
Communication is important, and transparency is most important thing. With social media, if you say a word, you cannot change it. That's it. Even if you said it 20 years ago, this is your personality.
Depends which one.
Yeah,
On
yeah.
Twitter, you can't change
Yeah,
it.
yeah, yeah. And this is something is good
Yeah.
to tell people your voice.
And to show what's happening, to show with videos, to show with pictures, and why not to bring people to the ground? Because I've seen throughout my career that someone who goes visit a village where there is a program happening, they become ambassadors for life for this project. They adopt it. I'm sure you've done your research about me, but I can tell you a little bit about my background before I was a journalist. And I lived in Latin America for 2 years. And I was living with the tribes, and I was telling the people, you know, I speak many languages. Use me as a voice. I can talk about your human rights problems, and then for 15 years I worked for the United Nations. So I was sent in so many different countries like Nepal, Malawi, Kazakhstan, Vanuatu, and so on, and I left this system, which was quite, you know, very convenient for me, for my family, in order to create something that I really believe in and that can really have impact to fill the gaps that I identified throughout my career in the humanitarian sector. One of the things that really really surprised me, you know, when you enter this kind of careers, and it's the same for you. You are in the SDGs and in sustainable development, and you do this because you care. You do this because you really want to make a difference. And I realized that all those non-profits or organizations were not really working together. There was so much competition, and it's normal because there is just, you know, everyone is competing to get prizes like yours. There's one prize, there are 87 organizations that are trying to get this prize. And when I was in Vanuatu, for example, that's when there was this huge cyclone that came, nearly killed my family. And it was really a wake-up call for me, because when I realized that afterwards, all the agencies, you know, especially for people like us in communication, all that matters to them was who was going to have the biggest logo next to the camera in the tents whenever our neighbors were dying, you know. And so bringing the civil society together, and I've seen that ACFUND is really into this, bringing civil society to work together in solidarity and promoting the projects, different projects that are happening in the world, so that others can regain trust in the civil society. Because I think that people have lost trust in non-profits.
You know what? Goal number 17, solve the problem, partnership. Our problem, you know, if you look at what you're doing, I know how touchy to you working in SDGs, because you taken this as a mission, not as a job. And in development, you have to feel it. When you feel it, you know what's gonna happen. Going back to the ACFUND, you know, Prince Talal International Prize for Human Development. This is one of the tools you could benefit for NGOs, because when you win the ACFUND prize, this is not the end. This is you started it. Because you could come next year, one of the winners, and say, I'm going to work too closely with NGOs or a group of people in South America and replicate my own project. ACFUND will finance it. Will refinance the same project, because when you win, you became eligible. That you get fund again from ACFUND.
Really?
This is continue. You know, we already have refinanced more than 16 projects. You know, we have 75 projects already won ACFUND prize since 1999. But 16 of them get repeated. And this is one of the ways civil society, particularly, as you know, there is 4 categories in ACFUND prize. The first one was UN an international and regional organization. The second one for national NGOs.
Yes.
And the third for government and the private sector who believe in social business and individual. If you take just number 2 as a network and bring all the winners together, those winners together under your partnership will bring them to work in a project already won Agfund Prize, which is already been financing, and Agfund already, and other donors, by the way, there is a lot of project has win Agfund. They get more fund from other donors.
Yes.
As you know, when you became one of 5 projects in the shortlist, that you might be not the winner, but you became in the among the 5 in the shortlist. That you became eligible from Agfund and other donors to be financing.
Wow.
So this mechanism is continue, and we in Agfund believe that civil society and NGOs should be stronger, should be pushing, should be have a good governance. When they have the good governance, and this is one of the way we did in Agfund, to how we get benefit from the best of everything. When we do microfinance bank, we create something called non-dividend company dedicated to solve a human problem. It's a company taking the best of business, non-dividend taking the best of NGOs and non-for-profit, solving the human problem, which is taking the goal of the government and the international. So having this being a creative, this is one of the tools. NGOs should start having use such tool under their leadership and create something to be transparent, good governance, reporting, annual reporting, etc. This is something we have to educate our NGO and for-profit, that whatever you do, it access to anything, you name it, access to microfinance, access to health, access to education, etc. If you do this, get to be with affordable cost. Mm-hmm. Some people think, affordable cost, that means poor will pay. No. Affordable cost, government could pay, NGO donor could pay, etc. But having said that, and coming from NGOs and for-profit, and coming in front of the donor, in front of international, and say, I'm doing this with 50% of what's being done by private sector and the government. So that's where people will come directly to non-for-profit and NGOs. And we probably in Agfund, already we want to support NGOs. We want to empower them. We want to do a lot for them. Mm-hmm. My message to everybody that please look at our website and nominate for next year prize, which is climate action, goal number 13, and the deadline will be 15th of January. And the winner could be somebody, she or he, or organization, they are doing a good job, but nobody knows about it.
Yes.
So please nominate and help to achieve or contribute in achieving SDGs, and let's work together not to leave anybody behind.
Well, Connected will make sure that we nominate one of our partners that I already have in mind. This has been a real pleasure.